Welcome to another edition of HiLo Cast at FantasticFest at Home.
Woo!
Our good friend
El Rey, motherfucker, El Rey.
Oh, man. Representing the El Rey
Every time
network.
I wear this shirt, I say El Rey, motherfucker, El Rey.
That network is now defunct, right? They didn't
It's closed up shop years ago.
Wow. Eric joining us this week. How's everyone doing? Paul, how are you?
I'm all right.
That's good. Good. We got a special episode this week. We're going to talk about two movies we've watched that are at Fantastic Fest at Home. But before we get to that, let's get to some memories at Fantastic Fest. Now, last week, Paul, you wanted Tim League in a lobster suit. Well, I am happy to oblige. There you go, buddy. There he is. He's in the suit. He's looking frazzled. He's so much older now. I saw a picture from this year's match. Maybe we should be talking about this on the episode. Whatever.
I saw him getting tattoos. Yeah, everybody.
Man.
Tim
What were the
League
tattoos this
is
year?
an ancient, ugly man.
You've worked with him. You could say that. Maybe we also should include this in the episode.
He's mean, he's ugly, and he's old. This is Eric Zapata saying all of this. Come at me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't have to worry about working with him in the future, right?
He's the meanest.
You're telling me this guy is mean. Me and him here at the Old West party.
I'm just kidding. I never really met him.
I used to make it a point of telling him how much fun I had at Fantastic Fest every year. Here's him dancing in the electric cage, which our good friend Shannon stripped down.
Notice his pants are still on.
He didn't have to get nude to get
That was
I
told the guy. I said, if you let me get in the cage, because they weren't letting just anybody get in the cage.
Tell the story. Tell the story for people at home who've never heard it before, real quick.
So it's the cage. It's the what are those guys on? They were on like America's Got Talent or whatever.
Yeah, like they were all electro
reactor guys.
Yeah, I'll find out what they are.
I forget what the fuck they're called, but it's Tesla coils, right? It's the zapping, but it doesn't actually do anything. It's kind of hot, but it doesn't really like shock you. So you get in the cage. It conduits the electrical thing. I'm sure the literal electrical engineer Paul here might be able to describe it better.
Yeah, how does it work, Paul? How does these Tesla bands work? I believe he left his house.
He's gone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What happened?
So, Paul, we're talking about Tesla bands, like people that use like the Tesla coils and shit to make music. Here's an example. Here's a video. These are the guys. They were Architect, is what they were called.
Architect, yeah.
And so Shannon got nude, got into a cage, and let this.
Well, so I didn't get nude and then get in the cage. I told the guy, I said, if you let me in, I'll take off my pants. And he goes, okay.
He goes, this is still 2010, so anything goes.
So you're allowed to flash. I flashed my butt. Nobody saw my ween.
You know, out of the hundreds of people there, nobody saw your ween.
My butt was facing the crowd. I made
Did
sure
your
of
butt
that.
get hot?
No, I mean the whole thing's kind of hot, right?
This is one.
I wasn't. I honestly didn't see it. I was in the maze.
I want to do this.
How does it work, Paul?
How does that work, Paul? What's the technology all about?
It's a lot of voltage, and he's wearing a metal suit, it looks like. So
But it's not really dangerous, though, right?
it's extremely dangerous.
Oh,
You tell that to me now. What about my butt?
First
Could've
little bite
died,
could have
man.
been fried.
I could be sitting here. I could be sitting here burnt on a flat tuchus.
Charred butt.
No butt to speak of.
Served up.
Josh saw my butt that year. I think so,
Your
right?
butt cheeks just hit Tim League in his old face.
What were the tattoos? I want a tattoo.
The tattoos this year, there was one of the movies we're talking about this week is Shin Ultraman. They had a little Ultraman tattoo. They had
That would have been dope. I love cultural appropriation tattoos, as you know.
Oh yeah, you're a big fan of.
I've got a couple of them.
That's another thing Fantastic Fest does is fun is the tattoo lottery where you can win a free tattoo. It's the only reason I'll get tattoos if it's free.
That's not true. You got a different tattoo.
That tattoo was also free, my man. My friend paid for it in full.
Okay, well, free to you.
Oh, he listen. It's free. That's good enough to me. If it's free for me, you know that old saying.
It's good enough for me if it's free to you. Yeah,
It's good
I know that
enough to
saying.
me if it's free to me, man.
Good enough for me.
Fool me twice, free to me.
And
Crash
look,
the planes into the building.
I'm glad you brought up the free tattoos because look, I even got these pictures. This is you getting yours. You got the rubber chicken that year, right? From Minden Chicken.
Yeah, it's a great one.
And this is my first tattoo ever. It was Picadone from Love and Peace. Still there. Picadone. It's a great movie. You can only get it in non-region DVD, unfortunately. What are you going to do? So let's get right into it. We just wrapped up Birdemic 3 Sea Eagle. And guys, before we get to general thoughts here, let's throw the trailer on for the people at home. All right, so you guys I know you just watched an hour and 20 minutes of it. Let's add 2 more minutes to that.
It was only an hour and 20 minutes. Jesus Christ! It felt longer.
At present, the human race is facing an existential crisis.
It's not
The
loading.
climate is changing fast
It's Florida.
and can lead to extinction. It is the
Audio on
greatest
the
threat
trailer is
to
better
life
than
on
the movie.
Earth. Climate
This is
change.
the
Not
video
wrong.
this is the video he watched in
What
the
we
movie.
do now. And
Yeah, this
for
is the
the
video he
future
watched on his
will
TV. You're right.
significantly
So you
affect
guys
the
can see it, but I
future
can't see
of
it.
life on Earth.
You can't see it, really.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Now,
I can't hear it. I
in
can't
a
see it.
span of 100 years, indeed in
I
the
don't
space
care.
of one human
I
lifetime,
wonder why.
extinction
It's
of
like
life on Earth is a reality.
Yeah, I mean, for everybody, if it's the
It is
same
the
thing. It's us, and I can
extinction
still
of life
see
on
and hear
Earth
you guys,
if
but
we
on the right hand
don't
side,
take
it's just
action.
still
What's
spinning.
going on the right-hand
We
side of the
need
screen?
a plan.
Spinning, just spinning.
Hello.
Climate scientist from San
The Zach
Francisco
Galifianakis guy just
has
shoved
given a
off his head
dire
over.
warning about climate change. He predicts
I know
the
that
human
guy.
race is headed toward a mass extinction.
Master of the romantic
Last year
thriller.
there was a Santa Cruz lightning complex wildfires.
Oh
and
yeah,
it
that
burned
they
everything
call it the
around
romantic thriller in the first one. I remember that.
here. And this year it's the sea eagles attack. We're headed towards abrupt extinction.
You're a scientist trying to save marine life, and I'm a scientist trying to discover how to extend human life expectancy. Very nice. We have to do something about this damn global warming.
Yeah.
What kind of bird is it? It's a sea eagle.
I always knew that the birds were coming back to attack us again. So maybe they want to exterminate us before they are extinct. Global warming has driven them to extinction.
You know what? This explains way more than.
Absolutely.
Oh no, that's
Yeah, we should have watched the trailer first.
yeah.
Oh
Is
man,
there
they
anything we
spoiled
can do
the
to
guy
fix
sings
it?
the song. Glad I didn't watch this
No.
trailer.
The birds are back to attack us.
Nothing new.
We better fix global warming, else the human race will end up like this whale skeleton.
Coming soon. It's a crazy movie for sure. It is a 1-for-1, shot for shot remake of the first Birdemic, really. What did you guys think? Paul, what are your general thoughts?
I
Come on,
don't
Paul.
feel well, but I think
You don't feel well
no.
because of the movie?
You think it's related to the movie is why you don't feel well?
I feel bad for the guy who made it. 'Cause
So
he
James
put-
DeWin, yeah, he created the first Birdemic, just like The Room. Like I remember the first time I heard of it was like, oh, they showed his car and it was just packed full of Birdemic merchandise.
It's not
and
like The
stickers
Room. This
all
guy's not going to get a spin-off movie with real actors based on it.
They should. They should do that.
It's
He's had
not gonna
there's been
happen.
3 Birdemics.
There's been 3 Birdemics. Tommy Wiseau has never made anything as good as The Room.
A second feature, right? I mean, am I crazy?
Yeah, he didn't do this Birdemic 2, which we all agree is not good.
No, but I'm saying Tommy Wiseau didn't have a second feature.
He's never, but he did a show, which it's terrible.
Yeah, Neighbors. The hit. The Emmy Award winning Neighbors.
Disney award-winning hit Neighbors.
I just
We
think
watched-
this guy he was obviously going after the American dream, and he was just misguided. And I feel like everyone took him for his money. Like, I want to know how much he spent on this thing.
Well, it's not
Talk
like
to
he
me
was.
about the American dream.
The American dream, which is dead now, but there used to be
The
a dream.
birds killed it.
Because of the birds.
Got all the sea eagles.
I mean, I don't know. I'm making assumptions here. Maybe the guy enjoyed doing this. I feel like that's what Neil Breen, why he does it. He just enjoys doing it, even though it's all bad.
But let's put that into action, right, Paul? So I agree with you, and that's something worth saying because I like the first Birdemic, but is it the weakest of the three of the auteurs in this genre? Of like this guy is not as good as Wiseau or as good as I mean Neil Breen is like a god among us. Like
Yeah,
he's an alien that's come from space.
When you're using the term "good," you're meaning.
Is it like bad
exploration? The exploration of their ideas, because Neil Breen, his movies all have the same point, and this guy's too. James Nguyen. I mean, the first Birdemic is the same thing. It's all about global warming. This was about the wildfires. Now that I'm sure he's having to deal with in California, but yeah, I think he is. I mean, this is really like a one note. I did Birdemic again.
I mean, Neil Breen's always the same thing too, except sometimes he has superpowers, or sometimes he's a twin, or
sometimes he's an alien, sometimes he's an AI.
He does change it up enough for me to care, right?
To me, though, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'll think about this differently, but to me, it's easier to laugh at Neil Breen, his work, and to laugh at Tommy Wiseau because they're in it. They're in those movies, right? That they made.
Sure.
This guy's not in it.
That's great.
I thought this whole time that
more cringy, right? Because it's happening to the actors, kind of, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And in this one, I thought the main character was the director, the white guy.
Oh no, yeah, the director. The movie, they talk a lot about Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo, and thinking about it, the director James Nguyen, like he is in the movie, Paul. He's in the scene where they're in the bar, and you see that guy, that Asian man in a nice suit, get up and walk and look at the camera. That was him. And he's basically trying to do what Alfred Hitchcock did, which was have a little cameo where he walks around. Yep. But it feels very out of place in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just doesn't, the formula doesn't, something about Neil Breen's movies and The Room has some kind of magic to it where it's stupidly funny. And this was just like, yeah, it was bad enough to be funny at points, but it's just not at that level, like where Neil Breen is just Neil Breen, he's like his own thing. I feel like somebody else could make this.
It's like a level of psychosis of this is a good movie, so much so that I'm going to be the main character and I'm going to be in 95 of the 100 minutes of the movie.
There's like a layer of insanity just above this one. This one's insane. Don't get me wrong. This is really bad. And this guy, I don't know what he was thinking when he made this, but it's not just completely like I can't even understand how insane Neil Breen and that other guy, the Room guy, is.
I'm not downloading a course about this like I am about Breen.
Yeah,
I'm not paying $1,000 for a 5 DVD course about the art of filmmaking like Neil Breen offers. I mean, this one had more production value than the first Birdemic. I mean, it's kind of like it's almost like the Evil Dead 2 to Birdemic's Evil Dead. Like,
oh yeah, you're right.
Whoa, Eric, is that what you think about this movie?
Oh, you're right. Oh, wow.
Eric,
Evil Dead too.
So Eric, of course, is our Hollywood insider. Eric, what did you think about this movie? How would you feel if you worked on Birdemic 3 See Evil?
I think I would probably be pretty excited about it in general, but I would know the whole time that it was just a shameless reboot of the original. I mean, that's definitely what it is.
And you'd let the director know, even though
I know. Yeah, I tell the directors all the time on everything I work on exactly what I think about their project. I go, "You're old, you're ugly, and you're out of ideas, buddy."
This is nothing like Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo.
I would like to know the directors of this, what he thought about The Room and any of Neil Breen's movies. Like,
Well, good news. Here he comes.
He's not coming.
Backstage.
He's backstage right now with a cotton ball man who he's terrified of.
So we watched. I distinctly remember watching the first Birdemic. I want to say I even brought it like on a burned DVD when you guys were living in Pittsburgh.
I remember.
Because we always love watching bad movies together, and so that was an instance where the first time I even met your wife, Eric, was that night.
Yeah.
And like we all watched Birdemic together, and it's the same exact feeling. Like there's so many scenes that are drawn out, just cars driving.
Yeah.
Where were we? Did we watch it at my place? Where were we?
Yeah,
we were at your place, yeah. And like in that scene, the part that I always never forgot was the singing portion, which I'm going to play a little bit for you right now because it happened again in this movie. And
it wasn't as jarring and terrifying.
No, Shannon, I hope you can see and hear this.
This is coming up, yes.
This is from Birdemic 1, Paul.
And it really is the same bar, right?
Just hanging out.
Yeah, this song's better.
This song is better.
This song is better.
The new song is about Mother Earth and not hanging out with your family.
Hanging out with my family. It's just mostly drive.
The same man. Now these are definitely. This first Birdemic, no one had any idea really. They must have known they were in a bad movie just based on
and everybody's wishing.
It's gonna be hard for me to not want to listen to this whole song.
We might as well listen to the whole thing, right?
She's an Australian chick in this one.
When did y'all live in Pittsburgh? What was that? 2009?
2009.
It's longer than I think it was.
2008, 2009.
You just got down
She's
to Red
longer. He lives in Pittsburgh still.
Huh?
You live in Pittsburgh now.
Don't dox him.
Oh shit! I got you. I'm kidding. He's in the path of the hurricane. Don't worry.
Atlanta, man.
Hanging out at the party.
Young ladies are doing their makeup, and the brothers can.
Everybody drinking Gundam wine.
On the radio, and I hear.
That was probably one of our favorite parts this time. Was that clearly he gets sponsorship from Armitage.
I remember
Armitage
the first time we watched it, it was genuinely more fun because it is basically the same movies. This one was a lot harder to sit through.
Yes, this one was harder to sit through. The first one definitely has kids. I remember they have kids at one point in the movie, so it gets a little more bizarre because of that, because they're bad kid actors as well.
And again, are we at that thing of like, I think Neil Breen is the perfect case in point, right? Breen is the only one that seems to be able to recapture the magic not only recapture, but Twisted Pair, his most recent movie, is the best Neil Breen movie. Like it is far funnier. It is far crazier. It ups the level on everything he's done up until this point. I my face hurt when I left the fucking theater for that movie because I was crying so much and laughing. And none of these guys seem to figure out and again, I don't think he knows what the recipe is because I think he thinks he's making serious movies.
I think that is honestly the only recipe for it, is that you think you're making a serious good movie, and then what you produce is a Neil Breen caliber movie. Then that's when the magic really hits. Mm-hmm. And especially if you got a message about that's anti-government or anti-global warming.
As good as this is, he knows he's in on the joke. Once Wiseau becomes in on the joke, it's not.
I would say that James Nguyen in Birdemic 3 is not being. I enjoyed it because it didn't feel like it was. It didn't feel like it was in on the joke. Like it was so many of the same stilted, like dialogue scenes of people explaining global warming to you over and over again. Like that felt all the stuff from the first Birdemic, and maybe he found like just the worst actors he could find because they all felt like legitimate actors. The $1 million realtor just drinking beer on the beach who explains to him how housing works.
But wouldn't it be good? Wouldn't it be good for it to be like a new thing? Like it could still be environmental, but like be a new skeleton basically, and have it still be really funny and be really serious. Like I think I would have appreciated it a lot more.
That is what Neil Breen does well, is that he does bring something new every time. something you haven't seen before. But overall, guys, would you recommend Birdemic 3, Sea Eagle?
I don't think I would.
I gave it 3.5 birds on Letterboxd just now. So
Out of how many birds? 5
out
birds?
of 5 birds.
It's pretty good.
5 sea eagles.
I think if you're watching it with friends, if you have a group of friends that you can laugh at with movies, it's definitely worth your time.
Agreed.
Paul agrees, and he got up and left his house at one point. I heard your door open.
I mean, if I were drunk enough, I think I would enjoy the shit out of that. I just wasn't.
We were definitely drunk the first time we watched the first Birdemic, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's one of those where you just gotta let go. You just gotta let go. Just fly with the birds.
Let the bird take you.
Fly like a sea eagle.
Put on your watch and let the bird take you away.
Shannon made a very insensitive comment that only Mexicans wear watches.
No.
Offended by that.
No. I said I'm the only one of the 4 of us wearing.
I can't believe you said that, Shannon.
Oh God.
I'll have you know my dad does wear a watch.
I can't believe you said that stuff about Tim Lee, and
Tim Luke is never gonna let me back in the theater.
And I can't believe you said that thing about Mexicans wearing watches.
He's ugly, he's old, and he wears a watch.
Yeah, just like that Mexican I am.
As a Mexican purple peanut, I wear a watch all the time.
Every day.
Don't you? I told you.
So Eric, you didn't watch Eric, you didn't watch the next movie, but feel free to stick around and ask any questions you might have.
Okay.
I want to hear your thoughts.
But the next movie we're going to discuss is Shin Ultraman, which is, I guess, the spiritual sequel to Shin Godzilla. Did you ever see Shin Godzilla, Eric?
No.
It was like a 2017 remake of the first Godzilla. Fucking amazing. I really love it, especially as a Godzilla fan.
It's real goofy.
This was a little more goofy. Let's watch the trailer.
I can't see it. No, I'm kidding. It worked. It works fine.
Oh, you goofball.
The first time it didn't. I don't know why.
I get
if you're listening to this in podcast form, you probably doesn't make any sense. It's Japanese.
Oh yeah, this is not in English.
Ultraman just showed up.
You guys know Ultraman? Music way better in this than Birdemic.
バディは相棒と理解している。
バディは互いの信頼が第一。
巨人の行動には怪獣とは違う知性を感じた。
あなたが何者か、正体が世界中にばらされている。
私と一緒にこの星のために働きませんか？
あなたは外星人なの？それとも人間なの？
痛みを知るただ一人で
A special effects and science fiction movie. I like when they just come out and tell you what you're gonna get.
Good, thank you.
So Shin Ultraman, it's by, hopefully I don't butcher this, Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi. They are the producer and director of Shin Godzilla. Ultraman, if you're not in the know, it was like a 60s Japanese TV show that probably got brought to America at some point. And
but it's had a lot of alterations, right? I mean,
so many alterations. They've brought it back so many times as movies, as other. It really feels like maybe the Japanese Doctor Who to me, because so Shannon and Paul watched it. It's like it's based on a TV show, and the movie feels very episodic. Like it's like 20-minute stories, and every 20 minutes it resets, and you get a new Ultraman story basically.
It's good.
And it was good. I dug it. It's not as I didn't like as much as I like Shin Godzilla, but it's fun. It's maybe a little too long. Maybe they could have lost one of those Ultraman stories.
All of those are a little too. I mean, I like Shin Godzilla. It's a little too long. Like it's still a little.
Shin Godzilla.
It's anytime you go back to talk to people for too long, and it's like a little bit of that is very silly and funny. But then, and the American versions are the worst with the big kaiju stuff of like, oh yeah, let's go hang out with I don't know, fucking Bryan Cranston for 45 minutes. Like,
he knows the secret passage to Kong's inner island.
Kong's inner space in the middle of the hollow core.
Let's go there.
I will say that at the beginning of Shin Ultraman, I thought it was just going to be kind of like a Pacific Rim kind of ripoff type of thing, but it went its own way. It definitely has individuality. It had a kind of its own approach to the kaiju, which, I mean, and they brought in aliens. I mean, spoilers, but I enjoyed it. As a purple peanut, I give it my stamp of approval.
Great.
Okay, so the rating system A is changing. B, you are the purple peanut.
You know what?
Eric, we didn't explain it to
What's
Eric.
the deal with the purple peanut?
Let's first explain what the deal is with the purple peanut, and then we'll get back to talking about Shin Ultraman. I'll let you explain it, Paul.
So M&M's, I guess it's plural.
Okay, because I did think you were talking about Marshall Mathers.
Marshall Mathers, M&M.
So the candy, they're adding
the real candy.
Color.
Please stand up. Please stand up.
So let me ask you, Eric, what are the peanut M&M colors?
Red, yellow, green, blue, orange. Right?
Brown.
Orange.
Brown. Oh, brown. That's right.
Brown. You got it. That's good.
The brown guy wears a watch, right?
Yeah.
He's always checking his watch.
Yeah, he does.
What time is it?
Hey, M&M.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, I'm late. I'm sorry.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! It's over.
The whole episode's getting put out. Who cares?
I can
Bringing
do
it
it
back
It's
to you.
fine. I can do it.
You can say all that stuff about Tim.
There's a purple now. There's a purple peanut M&M.
I think the problem is that they didn't actually produce purple M&M candies. They just made a purple character.
Well, I'm sure you could find one. Like if you go to the M&M store in Vegas, you could probably find a purple one there.
You think? Yeah, you're probably right.
If you put I'm always smashing the red and the blue together anyway.
Because I'm pretty sure they've had like an Easter themed peanut M&Ms before.
That's
yeah,
when
they have like
Mexican
purple and turquoise.
Yeah.
Didn't we all spent like what, an hour in the M&M store in Vegas together? There were definitely some purple M&Ms in there, right?
I'm pretty sure
we definitely went in there. That's for sure.
But we were in there, and then I remember being in there for like way too long. Like I because it has like it was like a lot of stories of. Yeah,
it's a magical place full of M&Ms.
I was shocked.
I was trying to figure out like what they do when they can't last forever in there. There's no way they sell them all. Anyway,
yeah, M&Ms can't last forever.
I give it, if a purple M&M were to watch Shin Ultraman, that purple M&M a stamp of approval.
So now that is the way the media review is. If a purple M&M were to watch this movie, how would they feel about it? Would they give it their stamp of approval?
Yeah, big old purple M.
What did you like? What did you like about Shin Ultraman, Paul?
Well, I mean it's
What are you laughing at? He hasn't said anything.
Alan tees him up, and he just goes, "Oh, well."
I mean, like I was saying earlier,
He gave me the stamp. What else do you want, Christ?
I thought it was going to be Pacific Rim. It was not. It went its own direction.
What does that mean?
Pacific Rim. Don't get me wrong. I love Pacific Rim.
You like Walt? You like both of them? The sequel too?
I love them all because they're big robots, and robots are cool and shit.
Well,
and
those movies are just paying homage to things like Ultraman and shit like that. Japanese
and Gundam.
Yeah,
Robotech.
Armitage, the third.
But it kind of everybody has their own approach, and to everything, to like cooking and stuff, and like My favorite, the way I cook a burger and the way
What?
they would cook a burger.
You lost it.
I like the American way of doing it. That's
Hey,
Pacific
what's up,
Rim.
Eminem?
Hold on, let me check the time.
My watch wasn't working, so I'm a little late.
It's the fact that Eric he says to cooking, and then Eric goes, he's in, and then burgers get mentioned, and he's out. He's gone.
I mean, the burger's a bad example. Like if I were
sushi,
because that's sushi. You don't have like an American sushi. I'm trying to think of a dish that both
Philadelphia
American
roll
and Japanese would make.
A
Eggs.
Philadelphia roll. The American sushi.
I'm sorry.
And this is what we're talking about.
California roll.
Hey,
My-
Ultraman,
my
what kind
taste
of sushi do you
buds-
want? I can cook it for you. I'll do it different though than you might like, than you might know.
My God.
I'm sorry, Paul. Stamp of approval, you said?
I give it the purple M&M stamp of approval.
Like Shin Godzilla, it has like Shin Godzilla used all the same Godzilla themes from throughout the years as different, musical cuts. Like after I watched this, I went and sought out like it basically they just took episodes of Ultraman and remade it into movie form. That's like every one of those episodes is basically beat for beat what happens, but it's always like 20 minutes of talking about the monster, 2 minutes of Ultraman fighting. The
Sure.
episode's over. But they use the same like music from the show in the movie, which I thought was cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, there you go from the purple M&M himself. Shannon, did you like it or did you hate it?
Shin Ultraman, I'll give it my stamp of approval. No, it's fine. It's good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, no, it's goofy. It's real silly, and they do a really good job of like using very minimalist, cheap effects to make it like not like poke fun at itself, but to still be like again it's not the Birdemic level effects, but it's
yeah.
No, I second. They got real creative because they didn't have a budget for that, but they still made things interesting to look at, even though you could tell it was cheap. It was interesting.
But even because it was interesting, it still looked good. Like every time like he flies, like the first time he flies away, like the camera doesn't leave the ground, so you kind of just see him far off and the flying straight up.
Yeah, they tried some stuff. Like in Birdemic, all you got were those same birds every single time, pretty much, and the same killing with the throat cut or whatever. But they tried some stuff out in Shin Ultraman.
I want to give you the chance. Double back, and do you want to do a double stamp?
I was trying to make.
He's got to think about it. Let him think about it.
He's only got so much ink.
No, this is good. This is okay. Look, I give the double stamp to Pacific Rim because that's my culture. That's my burger. Okay.
That's my watch.
I give a purple M&M stamp to Shin Ultraman, but just one. But that's their burger, right? That's their.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They have a different taste than we do.
Yes, exactly.
You got my burgers, and you got your burgers.
Right?
Your burger's got sushi on it.
Don't let your burger ever touch my burger.
Your burgers are the way your burgers are, and my
Keep
burgers
your-
have our
are
own
the way
burger.
my burger.
Keep your burger away from my monkey.
If you ever try to change
it, if we all made a burger and we showed it to each other, like not telling us how we're gonna do it, we'd all have a different burger. It would be different between all of us.
Man. Yeah.
And if you dare ever change the cheese on my burger, I'll fucking flip out, man.
I'll
I'll
slit
lose
your
my
throat
mind.
like a bird.
And I'm fine. Your burgers can live on your burger's side of town. That's fine with me. But if my burger goes to school with your burger, and you're telling me that my burger, the history of my burger is wrong,
We're gonna have a problem.
I'm gonna elect my burgers to your burger school district and have them throw out all your burgers textbooks.
Well, this is why we have a purple M&M now.
Because of the burger debate.
My burgers should be allowed to use a burger box in the hallway for the burger pee.
Your burgers need IDs to vote.
My burgers vote wherever they want.
My burgers can drop it in a little burger box.
I'd like to, at this point, I'd like to apologize to the audience for bringing up burgers. I did not mean for this to happen.
Yes, he did, folks. So, Shin Ultraman, Birdemic 3, FantasticFest at Home until October 6th, and streaming, I'm sure.
And they got plenty of burgers.
And the final segment, these are things that I've watched by myself at FantasticFest Home. This is Alan's allocation.
This is the first I'm hearing about this.
I'm going to give you a quick little reviews. This is the best movie I've watched at Fantastic Fest. Is a 2-hour Japanese serial killer thriller called Missing. It's by the AD, the assistant director of Bong Joon-ho. It's like his first feature, and it was so good. It's got the same grungy, lived-in vibes. It's about that guy's a serial killer there.
So it's like the AD that he uses for everything else.
Yeah, like the AD he used for Parasite and everything else. Like that guy got to make his own movie, and he made this movie called Missing.
I like how wet they look.
They're wet the whole time. They're grungy. They're dirty. It's like it kind of flips the genre on its head because it's a dad and his daughter, and the dad says, "Oh, I met a serial killer," and then the next day he's gone, and the daughter is looking for him. So I kind of like that. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The next one I watched was a French horror movie. And Eric, you probably work on something like this. It's called Deep Fear. And it was about these French kids in the 90s that get stuck in the French catacombs.
Oh,
they've made movies like that before, I feel.
Definitely.
This one's got a pretty creative bent as to what's down there. And
some places are left better unexplored.
Some places are better left unexplored. That's what
I said. That's exactly what I said.
That's how
I had to Google it. It's based on a real place in France. Like there's an underground thing.
I know. I've walked through it.
Yeah, I was saying, aren't the catacombs with all the bones and stuff? That's all very real. Yeah.
Well, there's catacombs with bones, and then there's also Nazi bunkers. And spoiler alert for the movie.
Spoiler alert! It's a Nazi troll.
Not far off. And the final movie
steps for the Nazi troll.
The final one I watched this documentary all about David Lynch's connection to the Wizard of Oz. Apparently, he loves it. It's in all of his movies. And I realized I don't think I've ever watched any David Lynch movie ever. I need to correct that.
You didn't see Firewalk with Me?
Didn't see Firewalk with Me. I didn't see Lost Highway. I didn't see Mulholland Drive. You name it. The guy loved the Wizard of Oz, though. I'll tell you that.
I love Wizard of Oz too.
You do? What's your favorite part of the Wizard of Oz, Eric?
My favorite part? When it turns color, baby, and the Scarecrow, all the Scarecrow stuff.
I love when the Cowardly Lion gets his big old hamburger.
I like,
give me a
I like the little dude in the background just fucking stirring himself up.
I like when you can see the ghost in the window of the 3 Minute a Baby movie.
Oh, I love 3 Minute a Babies in everything I make.
That painting, in the background of the Wizard of Oz, that painting of it's like a seascape. It's got a big old rock hard dick.
Yeah,
it's like a sea kingdom. It's like a sea kingdom. It's got a big fucking.
And when Scarecrow flops down on that cliff and all that stuff flies off, it says sex.
And it smells out sex. It smells like fuck.
Eric, I was right there with you about to make that same
I knew
joke.
it was coming.
Word for word.
Oh, how many stamps does all this get?
Wizard of Oz. What do you get the Wizard of Oz? Let's review the Wizard of Oz right now.
So I've only seen Oz. You remember Oz? Remember the Wheelers?
I only watch it until they get to color, and I turn it off.
Oh,
you've only seen Return to Oz.
You mean Return to Oz?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the only one to see with the Wheelers, and then
the TV show.
I've watched that with 3 of you. I watched that with Paul and Alan in our apartment.
But you've never seen Paul. You've never seen the original Wizard of Oz.
Can I tell you guys a funny Oz anecdote?
Sure.
Famously, my father-in-law tells the story all the time. He watched Wizard of Oz for the first time on a black and white television in his home. They only had a black and white TV. so he never knew that it changed color.
Oh,
They talked about that in the documentaries. Like John Waters had the same thing. Because I used to watch it on TV, and like I never knew it made that.
I'm gonna tell him that now that you've told me that. That's a great.
That is a thing. So this is the one you're familiar with, Paul, which is a creepy movie.
Yeah, in the end, they're in that room and they're putting their hands on stuff and saying Oz.
You mentioned something about a tiger.
A lion. A cowardly lion.
Purple
He
M&M.
could talk too, like the scarecrow and the.
It couldn't all be purple, right? Doesn't make any sense.
Remember how we spoke?
Yeah, I'd never seen this until I lived with you guys.
Yeah, it's got Fairuza Balk.
It's a great.
I love Fairuza Balk.
It's great. So at the end, I give The Wizard of Oz 3 stamps of approval.
I'll give it a stamp.
You give the original Wizard of Oz a stamp, not return.
I gave it a noose and a half.
I don't like Wizard of Oz.
I give it a new watch to Matteo.
Got a 33% on the tomato meter.
Halfway on the Yellow Brick Road.
Okay, this has been the HiLo cast of Fantastic Fest.
Alan's calling it.
Will we ever get to do this again? I don't know. Maybe. I hope so.
I don't think I looked into it too much this time. And what are the chances they look into it again?
We'll cut this little part out.
Yeah, cut that out. Go on.